Big Mama used to say, "Baby girl, when you hide who you are to find love, make sure the man is worth the trouble when the truth comes out." I thought about that every time I looked at Minjun. My apartment in Brooklyn was small, deliberately so. One bedroom, creaky floors, a kitchen the size of a closet. The kind of place that screamed, "barely making it," to anyone who visited. Minjun visited a lot. He'd sit on my secondhand couch and worry about me in that quiet way of his, like he was trying to solve a problem I didn't actually have. "Zara, you can't keep living like this." He looked around my apartment like it pained him. "Let me help with rent this month." I smiled, kept my voice light. "I'm fine, really." "You work too hard?" His hand found mine, warm, steady. "You deserve better than this." What he didn't know, what I made sure he didn't know, was that I didn't work hard because I had to. I worked hard because I wanted to. Because building something with your own hands, even when you didn't need the money, meant something. Big Mama taught me that too. Minjun thought I was a struggling freelance consultant. Thought I scraped by on small contracts and good luck. Thought the simple dresses I wore and the Honda I drove meant something about my bank account. He had no idea. Some things don't need announcing. Not until they do. I squeezed his hand back. "I appreciate you worrying about me, but I promise, I'm okay." He smiled. That smile that made my stomach flip every single time. "One of these days, I'm going to take proper care of you. When I figure out how to fix the mess my family's business is in." There it was, the irony that followed me everywhere. Park Industries, his family's manufacturing company, 60 years of history, hundreds of employees, all of it circling the drain because of bad decisions and worse timing. Minjun carried that weight on his shoulders every day, worked himself to exhaustion trying to save it. And the one person who could save it, she was sitting right next to him, wearing a $15 dress from Target, letting him think she needed help with rent. I'm Zara Michelle Vance, 29 years old, Savannah, Georgia born and raised. Black woman trying to find love in a world that usually wanted my money more than it wanted me. And chairman and founder of Vantage Group. $4.7 billion, give or take. The private equity firm I built from the ground up, using the seed money my mama left me and every business lesson Big Mama drilled into my head. Tech companies, real estate, manufacturing. If it made money and made sense, Vantage had a piece of it. In the business world, they knew me as ZM Vance, the reclusive chairman who never did public appearances, who negotiated through lawyers and stayed off Forbes covers, who could make or break a company with one phone call. Minjun had no idea that the elusive Vantage Group his family was desperately trying to meet with, the last hope for Park Industries, answered to me. And his mother? The woman who was about to meet me for the first time? She had no idea either. That was the thing about hiding in plain sight. People saw what they expected to see. I looked like someone who needed help. So they tried to help. Never occurred to them that the help might be running in the opposite direction. But I learned the hard way. Men loved Zara Vance, chairman of Vantage Group. They loved the access, the wealth, the power. They never actually loved me. Minjun loved me, the broke version of me, the version who worried about subway fare and split appetizers. He tried to pay for everything, even when his own family was drowning. Made sure I ate, checked that my heat was working, brought me soup when I was sick. He saw me, not my portfolio, not my connections, me. And that was worth $4.7 billion of secrets. For now. 3 months earlier, I'd walked into the wrong coffee shop. Not wrong exactly, just not the one I meant to walk into. I'd been distracted, thinking about a deal in Singapore, and my feet carried me through a door before my brain registered the sign. The place was packed, morning rush, everyone buried in their phones or their laptops, caffeinated determination thick in the air. I was looking at my phone when I walked straight into him. Hot coffee, expensive shirt. My fault entirely. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I looked up from the spreading brown stain. And there he was. Dark eyes, strong jaw. A smile that probably should have been annoyed but somehow wasn't. He held his coffee cup, mostly empty now, like it was the least important thing in the room. "It's okay." His voice was calm, amused. "I needed a reason to leave work early anyway. Your shirt. Will survive? He set the cup down on the nearest table. I'm more worried about your phone. Is it waterproof? I looked at my phone. Dry. Safe. Unlike his very expensive shirt. I'm fine. You're the disaster here. I've been called worse. He extended his hand. Minjun Park. Zara Vance. His hand was warm. He didn't let go right away. Neither did I. Let me buy you a new coffee, I said, since I weaponized yours. Only if you let me buy yours too. And maybe breakfast. To make sure you don't assault anyone else before you get caffeine in your system. I laughed. Couldn't help it. That's forward. That's efficient. He was still smiling. I just got coffee all over me for the first time in 32 years. Seems like fate trying to tell me something. Fate has terrible aim. Or perfect aim. His eyes held mine. Depends on perspective. And just like that, I was in trouble. We sat, talked. The coffee shop emptied and filled again around us, and I didn't notice. He told me about his work, VP at a family manufacturing company, trying to modernize before it was too late. I told him I was a consultant. Kept it vague, kept it safe. He asked about my work like he actually cared. Not the shallow interest most men faked before trying to steer conversation back to themselves. Real questions, follow-ups. His eyes lit up when I talked about business strategy. You should consult for us, he said. We could use someone who actually understands supply chain logistics. You can't afford me. I meant it as a joke. He took it seriously. Probably not, but I'd try. Something in my chest tightened. When was the last time someone tried for me? You married? The question came out before I could stop it. No. Girlfriend? Not for 2 years. He leaned forward. You? Single. By choice? Usually. I met his eyes. Men tend to want the wrong things from me. Like what? I don't know yet. What do you want from me, Minjun Park? He didn't hesitate. Another conversation, tomorrow, same time. I'll even wear a coffee-proof shirt. I should have said no. Should have walked away from those eyes and that smile and the way he said my name like it mattered. I didn't. Tomorrow, I said. He grinned, pulled out his phone. Number? I gave it to him. Actual number. Not the business line, not the assistant's contact. Mine. He texted immediately. Just a coffee cup emoji and a question mark. I laughed, texted back a check mark. And that was it. The moment that changed everything. I didn't know then that his family was collapsing. Didn't know his mother would hate me on sight. Didn't know that 3 months later, I'd be sitting in my carefully constructed broke girl apartment, listening to him worry about rent I didn't need help paying. I just knew that for the first time in years, someone looked at me and saw me. Not Chairman Vance, not ZM from the business articles, just Zara. The woman who drank her coffee black and laughed too loud and maybe, possibly, was starting to believe in fate with terrible aim. Tomorrow turned into next week. Next week turned into every day. Minjun took me to hole-in-the-wall restaurants where the food was incredible and the prices were low because he thought I needed low prices. I let him. Watched him light up when he found a place with a $20 tasting menu. Listened to him apologize for not being able to take me somewhere nicer. This is perfect, I told him. Meant it. When things turn around at work, I'll take you to Per Se. Make reservations 6 months out, the whole thing. I like this better. I reached across the table, took his hand. I like this. He looked at our joined hands like he'd found something he'd been searching for. Tell me about your family, he said. You don't talk about them much. Big Mama raised me, Savannah, Georgia. She taught me everything that matters. Like what? Like how to read people, how to know your worth, how to build something that lasts. I smiled, thinking of her. She owns half the buildings on her street, bought them one at a time over 40 years. Started with nothing but determination and a good eye for property. Smart woman. The smartest. She know about me? I called her after our second coffee date. She said, and I quote, "'Bout time you found someone who makes you smile like that." Minjun's eyes crinkled. That smile. God, that smile. I make you smile like that? Don't let it go to your head. Too late. We sat there, hands linked across cheap plates in a restaurant that wouldn't make anyone's best of list, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Safe. Not because of money or power or the empire I'd built, just because of him. The way he looked at me, the way he listened, the way he tried to take care of me even when his own world was falling apart. I almost told him then, almost said the words that would change everything. Minjun, I need to tell you something. His phone rang. He looked at the screen. His face went tight. My mother, he said, I'm sorry, I have to. Take it. He stepped outside. Through the window, I watched his shoulders tense, watched him run his hand through his hair the way he did when he was stressed, watched him nod at something I couldn't hear. When he came back, the lightness was gone. She wants to meet you, he said. My stomach dropped. Your mother? Dinner this weekend at the house. He looked worried. I know it's fast. I told her we'd been seeing each other for a while now and she insisted. She's traditional. I should warn you. Traditional. The word hung between us like a warning sign I should have paid more attention to. She'll love you, he continued, though his voice didn't quite sell it. Just be yourself. Be myself. Right. Which self did he mean? The consultant who scraped by? Or the chairman who could buy his mother's house with her quarterly bonus? Okay, I said. Dinner. I can do dinner. He squeezed my hand. Thank you. I know my family can be a lot, but they'll come around once they see what I see. What he saw was Zara who needed help with rent, Zara in Target dresses, Zara who split appetizers. What his mother was about to see? Same thing. And I had a feeling she wasn't going to like it. The Park Estate sat in Westchester County like it owned the whole zip code. Old money. Real money. The kind that came with gates and circular driveways and architecture that whispered, "You don't belong here," to anyone whose family hadn't been wealthy for at least 3 generations. I'd seen bigger houses. I owned bigger houses. But I pulled up in my Honda and looked at that mansion through Zara the struggling consultant's eyes and felt the familiar weight of being judged before I'd even walked through the door. Minjun met me at the car, kissed my cheek. You look beautiful. I'd chosen carefully. A dress from Target, $15 on sale, black, simple. The kind of thing that wouldn't draw attention or comment. The kind of thing that said, I'm trying my best with what I have, which was, in its own way, a lie. But that was the game, wasn't it? His hand found the small of my back as we walked to the entrance. I felt him tense beside me. Just remember, he said quietly, I'm here. Whatever happens. Whatever happens. Those words should have sent me running. The door opened before we reached it. Mrs. Park stood in the entrance like a queen greeting peasants. 50-something, perfectly styled, Chanel suit that probably cost more than my fake rent for 6 months. Eyes that scanned me from head to toe in less than 2 seconds and found me wanting. I knew that look. I'd seen it 1,000 times in 1,000 boardrooms. The look that said, you're not good enough to be here. Usually I was the one signing their paychecks. Tonight, I was just Minjun's girlfriend. Mother, this is Zara Vance. Minjun's voice was steady, proud. Zara, my mother. I extended my hand, smiled. It's wonderful to meet you, Mrs. Park. She looked at my hand like I'd offered her a dead fish. Then, after a pause, just long enough to be insulting, she took it. Briefly. Her fingers were cold. Come in. Not a welcome, a command. The house was exactly what I expected. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, art that cost more than most people's mortgages, everything designed to impress, to intimidate. I'd been in palaces that felt warmer. Minjun's father waited in the dining room. Mr. Park, graying hair, expensive suit, the same assessing look as his wife, but quieter, more calculated, and Minjun's sister, Ji-yoon, 26, pretty, her eyes sharp as she watched me sit down across from her. So, Mrs. Park settled into her seat at the head of the table. Zara, what do you do? Here we go. I'm a consultant, business strategy, operations management. How interesting. Her tone said it was anything but. And where did you study? State school, Georgia. I'd actually gone to Stanford, full ride, top of my class. But ZM Vance went to Stanford. Zara Vance, the struggling consultant, state school fit better. I see. Mrs. Park's smile didn't touch her eyes. And you're from Georgia? Savannah, born and raised. How quaint. Beside me, Minjun's jaw tightened. The staff brought the first course. Some kind of soup. Expensive, probably delicious. I couldn't taste it. Too busy watching Mrs. Park watch me. She leaned toward her husband, started speaking in Korean. Low, conversational, like I wasn't sitting right there. I'd taken Korean in college, enough to get by, enough to understand when someone was talking about you. She's so dark, like she's never been indoors. My hand tightened on my spoon. Look at her cheap dress, clearance rack. $15? She wasn't wrong, but the venom in her voice made it clear she wasn't just talking about the dress. This is what happens when he spends time with ghetto people. There it was. Minjun's hand found mine under the table, squeezed. He'd heard it too. Mother, he said in English, Zara is sitting right here. I'm aware. Mrs. Park switched back to English seamlessly. I was just telling your father how lovely it is to meet your friend. Friend, not girlfriend. The demotion was intentional. The soup course ended. The main course arrived. Through it all, Mrs. Park asked questions that weren't questions, comments that weren't compliments. Minjun is so generous, always helping people less fortunate. Our family has very high standards for partnerships. So tell me, Zara, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That last one almost made me laugh. Where did I see myself? Probably on the cover of Forbes if I ever stopped hiding. Definitely still running the company that could save their drowning business with one contract signature. But I said, building my client base, growing my practice. How ambitious. The word dripped condescension. I hope you're not expecting Minjun to support you while you build this practice. Mother. Minjun's voice went sharp. I'm just being practical, darling. Mrs. Park dabbed her mouth with a napkin. You have responsibilities, a family legacy to protect. You can't afford distractions. Distractions. I set down my fork carefully, slowly, met her eyes across the table. I don't need Minjun to support me, Mrs. Park. I support myself. Of course. Her smile was ice. I'm sure you do your best. Dessert arrived. I didn't touch it. Neither did Minjun. The tension at the table had teeth now. And then, just when I thought the evening might end without complete disaster, Mrs. Park reached into her purse, pulled out an envelope, white, thick, heavy. She slid it across the table toward me. There's $50,000 in here, she said quietly, calmly, like she was discussing the weather. For your hair, your nails, perhaps some nice clothes. And then I'd like you to leave my son alone. The room went silent. Even the staff froze. I stared at the envelope, at the money I didn't need, at this woman who thought she could buy me off with what I spent on office coffee in a month. He needs a wife, Mrs. Park continued. Not a burden, surely you understand. The dress she called cheap cost $5,000 in the design studio where I'd commissioned it. The envelope she'd given me? I spent more than that funding the scholarship program Big Mama set up in Savannah. But I said nothing. Just looked at that envelope like it was a snake. Minjun stood, chair scraping loud against marble. We're leaving, his voice shook. Right now. Minjun, I said we're leaving. He took my hand, pulled me up. I left the envelope on the table, untouched. We made it to the entrance before his father's voice stopped us. You're making a mistake, son. Minjun turned. The only mistake was bringing her here. Your mother is looking out for you, for our family, for the business. The business. Minjun laughed, hard, bitter. Is that what this is about? You're so desperate to save the company that you'll insult the woman I love. Love. He'd never said it before. He said it now. Loud, clear, in front of them all. That woman, his father said slowly, is not suitable for this family. Then maybe I'm not suitable for this family either. Minjun pulled open the door. We walked out together, into the night, away from the house and the money and the people who thought they knew what I was worth. My Honda sat in the circular driveway like a middle finger to everything they believed. Minjun opened my door, helped me in like I was precious, like I mattered. Then he leaned down, kissed my forehead. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm so sorry." I looked up at him, at this man who'd just chosen me over his family, who'd walked away from dinner with his mother rather than sit there and watch her insult me, who had no idea that the woman he was apologizing to could destroy his family with one phone call. The dress she called cheap cost $5,000 from my personal designer in Milan. The coffee for my office, $63,000 a year from a specialty roaster in Portland. The envelope she'd slid across the table, I'd just signed a deal worth $400 million that morning. $50,000, she tried to buy me off for $50,000. I started laughing. Couldn't help it. Minjun looked worried. "Zara?" "I'm okay." I wiped my eyes. "I'm okay, let's just go home." He got in, started the car, pulled away from that house like he was leaving something toxic behind. And all I could think as we drove back to Brooklyn was this. Mrs. Park was begging every investment firm in New York for a meeting with Vantage Group. Desperate, drowning, weeks from bankruptcy. And she just tried to pay off the chairman with pocket change and an insult. She had no idea who she was dealing with, but she was about to find out. Ji-yoon didn't wait long. 2 days after the dinner disaster, Minjun's sister made her move. I found out later, much later, that she'd hired a private investigator within 48 hours of watching me leave her family's estate with her brother. At the time, I didn't know. I was too busy falling in love. Minjun called me the morning after the dinner. His voice was rough, tired. "I'm sorry about my family." "You already apologized." "I'll keep apologizing until it feels like enough." He paused. "Can I see you? Today?" I should have said no. Should have used the distance to think, to decide if this was worth it. Yes. He picked me up an hour later, drove us to Central Park. We walked. Didn't talk much at first, just walked, his hand in mine, the city moving around us like we were the only still point in it. "My mother called this morning," he said eventually. "Wanted to explain herself?" "Did she?" "No, she doubled down. Said I was throwing away my future for—" He stopped. His jaw tightened. "For what?" "It doesn't matter what she said. It does to me." He looked at me then. Really looked at me. "She's wrong. About everything, about you, about what matters." Something in my chest went warm. "Minjun." "I know what I want, Zara, and I know who I want it with." His thumb brushed across my knuckles. "My family will come around or they won't. Either way, I'm not walking away from you." The man had no idea he was choosing the one person who could save his family's company. No idea that walking away from me meant walking away from the only lifeline his mother was desperately grasping for. The irony wasn't lost on me, but the look in his eyes, that was real. That was mine. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. We spent the rest of the day together. Lunch at a food truck, coffee at a place that didn't care about names or status. He told me about growing up with the weight of Park Industries on his shoulders, about his father's silent expectations and his mother's louder ones, about feeling like he'd never be enough for either of them. I told him about Big Mama, about Savannah, about growing up learning that worth wasn't something other people gave you. It was something you carried yourself. I didn't tell him about the $4.7 billion. Didn't mention Vantage Group or ZM Vance or the fact that I could have bought that food truck and the entire block it sat on with what I spent on quarterly legal fees. Some things still weren't ready to be said. But the rest, the parts that mattered, I gave him those. And when he walked me to my door that night and kissed my forehead like I was something precious, I thought maybe, just maybe, this could work. I had no idea his sister was already digging. The private investigator Ji-yoon hired was thorough. I'll give him that. He searched public records, employment databases, tax filings, credit reports, everything a normal person would leave a trail through. He found nothing, because Zara Vance the consultant didn't exist in any meaningful way. She was a cover, a carefully constructed persona designed to keep ZM Vance separate from the woman who just wanted to be loved for herself. What the investigator couldn't find, he invented. I found out about it 3 days later when Minjun showed up at my apartment, furious. My sister's been spreading rumors about you. I set down my coffee. What kind of rumors? The kind I won't repeat. His hands were fists at his sides. She hired someone to investigate you. When they couldn't find anything, she made stuff up. Like what? It doesn't matter. Min-jun. He looked at me, pain in his eyes. She's telling people you're hiding something, that you have a past, that you're not who you say you are. The last part was almost funny. I wasn't who I said I was, just not in the way Ji-yoon thought. What do you believe? I asked quietly. I believe you. No hesitation. I believe you're exactly who you've shown me you are. The rest is just my family being desperate and cruel. Desperate for what? His shoulders dropped. To control me, to save the company, to keep everything the way it's always been. He sat down next to me, took my hands. They don't understand that I'd rather lose everything than lose you. Words I didn't deserve, not when I was lying to him every single day. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this, I said. I'm not in the middle, I've already chosen. He kissed me then. Soft? Sure, like sealing a promise. And I kissed him back, hating myself a little bit for all the truths I still wasn't telling. The Korean church in Midtown was beautiful. Traditional architecture mixed with modern updates. I'd driven past it 100 times without thinking much about it. Min-jun took me there on Sunday. Said he wanted me to meet the community, to show me that not everyone in his world was like his family. He was wrong about that. We walked in together, his hand on the small of my back, heads turned, conversations paused. The kind of silence that comes when something unexpected, something unwelcome, walks through the door. An older woman approached, perfectly dressed, smile that didn't reach her eyes. Min-jun, so good to see you. She spoke English, but her gaze was on me, assessing, judging, finding me lacking in the span of 3 seconds. And this is Zara Vance, my girlfriend. The word landed hard, intentional. How lovely. The woman's smile got tighter. I don't think I've seen you here before. First time, I said. Well, welcome. She turned back to Min-jun, switched to Korean. I caught enough to understand. Your mother called me. She's very worried. Is this really wise? Min-jun responded in English, deliberate. My personal life isn't community business, Mrs. Choi. Her eyes flickered. Of course, I'm just concerned for your family. She patted his arm, walked away. And that's how it went. All morning. Polite English greetings that barely masked the Korean conversations happening around us. Looks that lasted too long. Whispers that stopped when we got too close. Ji-yoon's rumors had spread fast. I sat through the service with Min-jun's arm around me, felt the weight of 100 eyes on my back, heard the rustle of judgment in every shifted position and cleared throat. After, in the parking lot, Min-jun was vibrating with anger. I'm sorry, I thought... He ran his hand through his hair. I thought they'd be different. It's okay. It's not okay. They treated you like your family did? I smiled. No bitterness, just truth. Min-jun, I've spent my whole life being looked at like that. By people who thought they knew what I was worth based on my skin or my bank account or my zip code. How do you stand it? I thought of Big Mama, of building Vantage from nothing, of sitting across from men twice my age who called me honey and sweetheart while I bought their companies out from under them. I remember who I am, I said, and I don't let them change it. He kissed me, right there in the parking lot, in full view of everyone filing out of the church. Let them see, let them talk. I was done apologizing for taking up space. That night, Min-jun came over with takeout and wine. We ate on my couch, talked about everything and nothing. And for a few hours, I forgot about his family and their schemes, and the secret sitting between us like a third person in the room. Tell me something nobody else knows about you, he said. Dangerous question. Like what? I don't know, something real. Something you don't usually share. I thought about it, chose carefully. When I was 12, my mother got sick. Cancer. It was fast and brutal, and by the time we knew what was happening, it was too late. I picked at the label on my wine bottle. She left me everything she had. It wasn't much, but she made me promise I'd build something with it, something that lasted. Minjun's hand found mine. I did, I continued. I built something she'd be proud of. Truth, just not all of it. I bet she would be proud, he said, of who you are now, of how you handle everything life throws at you. What about you? I turned toward him. Tell me something nobody knows. He was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm scared of failing, of letting down everyone who depends on me, of waking up one day and realizing I gave everything to save something that was already dead. The company? The company. My family's expectations. The image. He looked at me. Until I met you. I thought that's what life was. Duty and obligation and trying to be enough for people who'd never actually see you. And now? Now I know what it feels like when someone actually does. See me, I mean. His thumb traced circles on my palm. You make me want to choose differently. To choose what makes me happy instead of what's expected. I should have told him then. Should have said, I'm the chairman. I control Vantage. I can save Park Industries. I've been lying to you since the day we met. But I didn't. Because in that moment, sitting on my secondhand couch with him looking at me like I was the answer to a question he'd been asking his whole life, I couldn't bear to watch that look change. So I kissed him instead. And let tomorrow worry about itself. Ji-yoon found out 2 days later. I only know because Minjun told me what happened. The way his sister had barged into his office. Triumphant. Victorious. I know where she works. Minjun had looked up from his desk. Who? Your girlfriend. The one you're throwing your life away for. Ji-yoon? She has an office in Manhattan, 32nd floor of the Crawford building. His sister had smiled. Sharp. Mean. That's a premium address, Appa. Not exactly struggling consultant territory. Minjun's pulse had jumped. So what? Maybe she's meeting a client there. The private investigator said the receptionist called her Chairman Vance. Chairman. The W. Ord must have landed like a bomb. Minjun told me he didn't react. Just stared at his sister until she got uncomfortable and left. Then he'd sat there for an hour, thinking. He called me that night. Can I ask you something? My heart stopped. Of course. Do you work in the Crawford building? Moment of truth. Moment of decision. Sometimes I meet clients there, I said. Technically true. The building housed 3 of my subsidiary companies. I met with their executives regularly. Ji-yoon said you have an office there. Your sister's been busy. She's trying to prove you're not who you say you are. And what do you think? Silence. Long enough that I thought I'd lost him. Then, I think my sister is desperate to control my life, and I think she doesn't know you the way I do. He paused. But Zara, if there's something you need to tell me, this was it. The opening. The chance to come clean. There's nothing, I lied. I'm a consultant. I meet clients where they want to meet. Sometimes that's coffee shops. Sometimes it's premium office buildings. That's all it is. More silence. Okay, he said finally. I trust you. Guilt twisted in my chest. Thank you, I whispered. But that night, alone in my apartment, I called my assistant. Clara, it's me, the office in the Crawford building. Remove my name from everything. No more Chairman Vance on any directories. And tell security to stop announcing me by title. Are you sure? That's a lot of... I'm sure. Just do it. Ji-yoon had gotten too close. If she kept digging, if she found the right paper trail, if someone connected ZM Vance to Zara Michelle Vance, the whole house of cards would fall. I wasn't ready for that yet. The Asia Pacific Business Conference was scheduled for mid-October. I'd agreed to be keynote speaker 6 months earlier, back when being ZM Vance in public seemed safely separate from being Zara with Minjun. Now it felt like walking a tightrope over a pit of consequences. Cancel it, I told Clara. You can't cancel. You're the keynote. There are 500 confirmed attendees. The press coverage. Find someone else. There's nobody else. You're the draw. Half these people registered because your name was on the ticket. She paused. What's going on? I couldn't explain. Couldn't say. I'm in love with a man whose family is attacking me. And if they find out I'm the chairman they're desperate to meet, everything falls apart. Personal reasons, I said. Zara, Clara, please. She sighed. Fine, but you're still going. You signed a contract, and breaking it would generate more press attention than just showing up. She was right. I knew she was right. Which is how, 3 weeks later, I found myself backstage at the Javits Center, wearing a custom suit that cost more than most people's cars, about to walk on stage as ZM Vance, Chairman of Vantage Group, while praying Minjun's family didn't happen to be in the audience. They weren't. But the Korean community was. And they had cameras. The photos hit social media before I even left the stage. ZM Vance finally reveals face at Asia Pacific Business Conference. Vantage Group chairman breaks 5-year silence with powerful keynote. The mysterious billionaire behind Vantage Group is a 29-year-old black woman. My phone exploded. Clara called 6 times. Uncle Jerome texted, "Proud of you, baby girl." And somewhere in Midtown, in a Korean church community group chat, someone posted a photo of me on stage with a caption I later heard about secondhand. "Isn't this Minjun's girlfriend?" The comments came fast. "That can't be her. Why would someone like that date him? Is this real? Oh my God." The next day, Minjun called. "Did you give a speech yesterday?" "Yes." "At a business conference?" "Yes." "Zara?" His voice was careful, controlled. "People are sending me photos of you on stage. They're saying you're some kind of keynote speaker," I finished. I was a keynote speaker. "About what?" "Business strategy, market trends, the same stuff I consult on." "Not a lie, just not the whole truth." "There are articles calling you a billionaire." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Business journals, they're talking about ZM Vance, this mysterious chairman who's been running Vantage Group for years, and the photos..." He stopped. "The photos look like you." "Minjun, is your middle name Michelle?" Silence. "Zara Michelle Vance," he said slowly. "ZM Vance. I can explain. Are you the chairman of Vantage Group?" The question hung between us like a blade. I could lie, could say the articles were confused, could claim the photos were misleading, could keep the walls up a little bit longer, or I could tell the truth. "I need to see you," I said, "in person, not over the phone. Just answer the question." "Minjun, please." "Zara, are you the chairman?" "Yes." The word dropped like a stone into water. Silence. Then, "You've been lying to me this whole time." "I haven't been lying. I just haven't..." "What do you call it then? When someone lets you believe something that isn't true? When they watch you worry about their rent and their job and their future while sitting on billions of dollars?" "I call it protecting myself." My voice broke. "I call it trying to find out if someone could love me without wanting something from me." "I loved you without knowing any of this." Loved. Past tense. "Minjun, I have to go. Please don't hang up." But he already had. He didn't return my calls for 2 days. I texted, called, showed up at his office. His assistant said he was in meetings. I knew better. He was avoiding me. On the 3rd day, he finally texted back. "My father wants to meet you." Not, "I want to see you." Not, "Let's talk." Just, "My father wants to meet you." Because of course he did, because now I wasn't Zara, the struggling consultant. I was ZM Vance, chairman of Vantage Group, the person his family had been desperately trying to reach for months, the person who could save Park Industries with one signature. "Okay," I texted back. "Tomorrow, 2 p.m., his office." "Will you be there?" He didn't answer. Mr. Park's office was all dark wood and leather. Power dressed up as tradition. He stood when I walked in, gestured to a chair across from his massive desk. "Miss Vance," or should I say, Chairman Vance? "Zara is fine?" He didn't sit, just stood there, looking at me like I was a puzzle he was trying to solve. "My son says you've been seeing each other for several months now." "Yes." "And you didn't think to mention who you really were." I didn't see how it was relevant. His eyebrows rose. "You didn't see how being the chairman of the company we've been trying to contact for months was relevant?" "To my relationship with Minjun? No." "That's a very..." He paused, chose his words. Convenient position. I met his eyes, held them. "Mr. Park, I've been in love with your son for months. Your family has spent that entire time trying to prove I'm not good enough for him, trying to pay me off, spreading rumors, treating me like dirt. I leaned forward. Do you really think I was hiding my identity to gain something from you? Because from where I'm sitting, revealing who I am only makes everything more complicated. He sat down slowly. My wife is traditional. She wants what's best for our family. What's best for your family is standing right in front of you. And she tried to pay me $50,000 to leave? Silence. You remember that night, I said. It wasn't a question. I remember. Your wife insulted me, called me ghetto, cheap, unworthy. Your daughter spread lies about me. Your community gossiped. And through all of it, the one person in your family who saw me as a human being is the one you're all pressuring to give me up. Mr. Park's jaw tightened. We're desperate, Miss Vance. The business is weeks from bankruptcy. I know, I've read your financials. I pulled out a folder, set it on his desk. I've been watching Park Industries since before I met your son. You've got good bones, strong manufacturing base, loyal workforce, but terrible leadership and worse financial decisions. He stared at the folder like it might bite him. I could help you, I said. I could save your company. But not because you're pressuring Min-jun. Not because your wife insulted me and now wants to make nice. If I help Park Industries, it'll be because the company itself is worth saving. And my son. Your son deserves better than parents who use him as leverage. Better than a mother who treats his girlfriend like garbage until she finds out that girlfriend has money. I stood. You want my help with your business? You talk to my office. You go through proper channels. You present a case for why Vantage should invest. But you leave Min-jun out of it. I walked to the door, stopped. And Mr. Park, your wife owes me an apology, a real one. Not the kind you give because you need something. The kind you give because you know you were wrong. Then I left, walked out of that office with my head high and my dignity intact, exactly like Big Mama taught me. Min-jun called that night. My father told me what happened. I'm sorry if I overstepped. You didn't. His voice was soft, tired. You did what I should have done weeks ago. You stood up for yourself. Min-jun. I'm not angry that you have money, Zara. I'm not even really angry that you hid it. He paused. I'm hurt that you didn't trust me, that you let me worry about your rent and your life while knowing you could buy and sell my entire family. I was scared. Of what? Of this, of everything changing, of you looking at me differently. My voice cracked. Of you wanting me for what I could give you instead of who I am. I fell in love with you when I thought you had nothing, he said quietly. That hasn't changed. Fell in love, present tense. I should have told you, I whispered. I wanted to, so many times. Why didn't you? Because every time I looked at you, I saw someone who loved me for me. Not for Vantage, not for the money, not for what I could do for your family. Just me. And I was terrified that telling you would ruin that. Silence. Then, can I see you tomorrow? Yes, please, yes. My apartment, 7 p.m., come alone. Okay? And Zara? Yeah? Come as yourself. Not Chairman Vance, not Zara the consultant, just you. That's all I've ever been, I said, even when you didn't know it. His apartment was in Chelsea, modern, clean lines, everything in its place. He opened the door before I could knock. We stood there, looking at each other, all the words we needed to say crowding the space between us. Then he pulled me inside, closed the door, and kissed me. Not gentle, not tentative. Kissed me like he'd been holding back for months, and finally could let go. I kissed him back, wrapped my arms around his neck, felt his hands at my waist, pulling me closer. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. I don't care about the money, he said. I don't care about Vantage or ZM Vance or any of it. Min-jun, let me finish. His forehead touched mine. I care that you're brilliant, that you built something from nothing, that you handled my family with more grace than they ever showed you, that you've been carrying this weight alone while letting me think you needed help. He cupped my face. I care about you. Just you. Even though I lied, you didn't lie. You protected yourself. There's a difference. Is there? You told me the important things. Your values, your dreams, your heart. His thumb brushed across my cheek. The rest is just details. $4.7 billion worth of details. I don't want your money, Zara. I want you. I believed him. Standing there in his apartment, looking into eyes that saw all of me, the girl from Savannah and the chairman of Vantage and everything in between. I believed him. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, I said. I'm sorry my family made you feel like you had to hide. We stood there, foreheads touching, hearts finally in sync. What happens now? I asked. Now? He smiled, kissed me again. Soft this time, sure. Now we figure it out together. And for the first time since the conference photos went viral, I felt like maybe, just maybe, everything was going to be okay. I should have known better. Hana showed up 2 weeks later. Minjun had warned me, said his mother was pushing him to meet with his ex-girlfriend, that she was convinced Hana, daughter of a Chaebol family, old money, Korean, was the right choice. I told him I trusted him, meant it. Then she called me. This is Hana Kim. I believe you're dating my Minjun. My Minjun? I am, I said carefully. I thought we should meet, woman to woman, clear the air. Every instinct I had screamed danger. But I agreed, because running from his past wouldn't change it. We met at a restaurant in Midtown, expensive, the kind of place that required reservations months in advance. She'd somehow gotten a table with 2 days' notice. Hana was beautiful. I'll give her that. Perfectly styled, designer everything. The kind of woman who belonged in Mrs. Park's world. She smiled when I sat down, all warmth, no teeth showing. So you're the famous ZM Vance. And you're Minjun's ex-girlfriend. For now. She sipped her wine. You know his mother adores me. I'm aware. We dated for 3 years. Our families have known each other for generations. It was always assumed we'd end up together. And yet you didn't. Her smile flickered. Minjun went through a rebellious phase, decided he needed to experience other things. Her eyes traveled over me, dismissive. I've been patient, waiting for him to get it out of his system. I'm not a phase. Of course not. You're the chairman of Vantage Group. Quite the catch. She leaned forward. But between us, money doesn't buy belonging. It doesn't make you one of us. Minjun's mother will never accept you. The community will never embrace you. And eventually, he'll realize that choosing you means losing everything else. Is that what you're counting on? I'm counting on what I know. Family matters in our culture. Tradition matters. And Minjun has spent his whole life trying to make his parents proud. She set down her wine. You're exciting, you're different. But when the novelty wears off, he'll come home. To his own kind. That's what she meant. To someone like her. I could have said a lot of things. Could have told her about the nights Minjun held me and talked about building a different life. Could have mentioned that his mother's beloved company was drowning and I was the only one who could save it. Instead, I smiled. You're right about one thing. Money doesn't buy belonging, but love doesn't require it. I stood. Thanks for lunch. And Hana, he's not your Minjun anymore. He hasn't been for a long time. I left her sitting there, walked out of that restaurant with my head high and my heart sure. And if I was a little bit petty about leaving her with the check, well, Big Mama always said some lessons were worth paying for. The charity gala was black tie, expensive, the kind of event where New York's elite gathered to feel good about themselves while drinking wine that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Minjun and I went together. Hana was there too, with her father. She smiled when she saw us, that same bright false smile from lunch. Minjun, how wonderful to see you. He kept his arm around my waist. Hana and Zara. She air-kissed both my cheeks. I was just telling Daddy about your amazing success story. So inspiring. Her father, A portly man with assessing eyes looked me up and down. Vantage Group, yes? We've been trying to get a meeting with your office for months. My assistant handles meeting requests, I said smoothly. Of course. Perhaps Minjun could put in a word? He smiled, friendly, but his eyes calculated. After all, family helps family. We're not family, Minjun said flatly. Awkward silence. Hana laughed, too bright, too loud. Yet, he means not yet, though Mother Park keeps hoping. She winked at her father. Minjun's hand tightened on my waist. The evening got worse from there. Everywhere we turned, Hana appeared, always with her father, always making pointed comments about how things used to be and people who understand our culture. At the bar, she cornered me alone. He's miserable, you know, caught between you and his family. He seems happy to me, because he's trying, but it's eating him alive, the pressure, the disappointment in his mother's eyes. She moved closer. I could make that go away. If he came back to me, his family would be thrilled. The business connections would save Park Industries. Everyone wins. Except Minjun. He'd learn to be happy. We were happy before. Were you? Or were you just what his mother wanted? Her mask slipped, just for a second. Angry. Bitter. At least I belong. At least I understand what he needs. You're just an obstacle, a fascinating detour. But eventually, he'll find his way home. You keep saying that. Like if you repeat it enough times, it'll become true. It is true. You'll see. Then she picked up my wine glass, the one I'd set down on the bar. Oops. Red wine all over my dress. The cream silk dress I'd worn specifically because Minjun said he loved me in it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Hana's voice carried, loud, concerned, pure performance. I'm so clumsy. Everyone turned. Minjun materialized at my side. What happened? Hana spilled wine on me. It was an accident. Hana dabbed at my dress with a napkin, making it worse, smearing the stain. I feel terrible. I looked at her, at the satisfaction hiding behind manufactured concern, at the woman who thought I'd crumble under social embarrassment, and I smiled. It's fine, I said. Accidents happen. Then I turned to Minjun. I need to run home and change. Can you call me a car? I'll come with you. No, stay. Enjoy the event. I'll be back in an hour. I kissed his cheek, made a point of it, in front of Hana and her father and everyone watching. Then I left, went home, changed, came back in a different dress, a black Valentino that cost more than Hana's wine-stained ego could handle. And when I walked back into that gala, every head turned. I looked good. I knew I looked good. More importantly, I looked unbothered. Hana's face, when she saw me, worth every second of the drive home and back. Minjun met me at the entrance. You came back? Did you think I wouldn't? I thought. He smiled. I thought you'd show up looking even better than when you left. I was right. I kissed him. Right there in the entrance. In front of everyone. Let Hana watch. Let them all see. This wasn't going away. We weren't going away. And if she wanted to fight for him, she'd already lost. The business conference was 2 weeks later. The same conference where photos of me had gone viral, where my identity as ZM Vance had become impossible to hide. I was scheduled to present again, this time on emerging markets and strategic partnerships. Minjun knew, had the date in his calendar, wished me luck that morning with a kiss that made me wish I could cancel and spend the day in bed with him instead. I didn't cancel. Showed up in my power suit, walked on stage, delivered my presentation to 500 of the most influential business leaders in the country, and didn't think about Hana at all, until I saw her. Halfway through my presentation, during the Q&A session, I looked out at the audience. There she was, 10th row, with her father, both of them staring at me with expressions I couldn't read. I finished my presentation, walked off stage, checked my phone. 17. Missed calls from Minjun. My stomach dropped. I called him back. Where are you? His voice was tight. Still at the conference center. What's wrong? My family just saw. Saw what? You, on stage. There's a live stream of the conference. My mother was watching. She Zara, they know everything now. They know you're the chairman. They know you've been dating me this whole time. They know you could save Park Industries with one phone call. Minjun. She's losing her mind, screaming about betrayal and manipulation. My father's locked himself in his office. Ji-yoon won't stop calling me. He paused. They think you've been playing me, using me to gain leverage over the company. That's ridiculous. I know that, but they don't. They think, God, Zara, my mother thinks you've been with me this entire time just to humiliate her, to watch her grovel while knowing you had all the power. I would never. I told them that. They didn't listen. They think I've been manipulated, that you targeted me specifically. I closed my eyes. What do you want me to do? Nothing. This isn't your fault. This is them. Their paranoia and their desperation and their refusal to accept that they were wrong about you from the start. Minjun, I have to go. My mother's calling again. But Zara? His voice softened. This doesn't change anything between us. I meant what I said. I don't care about the money or the power or any of it. I care about you. I care about you too. I know. I'll call you tonight. He hung up. I stood there, backstage at the conference center, dressed in power and authority, feeling more vulnerable than I had in years. This was it, the moment when everything collided, when hiding stopped being possible and choices had to be made. And somewhere across town, Minjun's family was deciding whether to blame me or themselves. I had a feeling I knew which way that would go. The call came 3 days later, not from Minjun, from his father. We need to talk, Vantage Group and Park Industries. Send a proposal to my office, we'll review it. This isn't a formal proposal. This is a conversation between my son's girlfriend and his family. I'm not discussing business as Minjun's girlfriend. If Park Industries wants Vantage's help, you go through proper channels. Miss Vance, please, we're desperate. I know you are, Mr. Park. I've known for months. I've watched your quarterly reports and your failed deals and your mounting debt. I knew exactly how much trouble you were in the night your wife offered me $50,000 to leave your son. Silence. But I'm not going to save your company because I'm dating Minjun. I'm not going to save it to prove a point to your wife. If I save Park Industries, it'll be because the company deserves saving, because the workers deserve stability, because the business itself has value. And does it have value? I thought about it, really thought about it. Yes, I said finally. It does. You've made terrible decisions. Your leadership is weak. Your financial management is a disaster. But the core business, the manufacturing division, the workforce, the infrastructure, that's solid. That could be built into something worth saving. Then help us. Send a proposal to my office. You know we can't afford your usual terms. Then you'll have to convince me why I should make an exception. On the merits of your business plan, not because your son loves me. I hung up, sat in my office, the real office, the one with my name on the door, and the view of Manhattan spread out like a game board below, and thought about choices. I could save Park Industries, could sign a deal tomorrow that would stabilize their finances, modernize their operations, give them breathing room. But doing it now, while dating Minjun, while his family was still treating me like a threat, that wasn't love. That was leverage. And I'd built my career on never being anyone's leverage. So I waited. Let them send their proposal. Let them pitch their case. Let them try to save themselves the way every other company I'd ever helped had to. And if they happened to realize along the way that they'd been terrible to the one person who could help them, well, that was just good business. The weeks after the business call settled into a strange new normal. Minjun and I were together, officially, publicly, his hand in mine at restaurants, his arm around my waist at events. No more hiding, no more pretending. But his family? They were circling, watching, waiting for us to fall apart. We spent our time in his apartment or mine, places where the world couldn't reach us, where we could just be Minjun and Zara. Not the son disappointing his family, not the chairman everyone wanted something from, just us. One night, we were cooking together in his kitchen, or trying to. I was better at business deals than I was at chopping vegetables. He kept laughing at me. You run a multi-billion-dollar company, but you can't dice an onion? Different skill sets. I wiped my eyes. Besides, I have people for this. You have people to cook for you? I have people for everything. That's what having money means. I looked at him. Except this. I don't have people for this. For what? For standing in a kitchen with someone who loves me and laughing about onions. He set down his knife, pulled me close. I do love you, he said quietly. I should have said it before. Not to my father, not in anger, to you. My breath caught. I love you, Zara. I don't care that you're the chairman of Vantage. I don't care that you could buy and sell my entire family. I love you because you're brilliant and kind and stronger than anyone I've ever met. Because you handle my family's attacks with more grace than they show you. Because when you look at me, I feel seen. Tears pricked my eyes. I love you too, I whispered. I've loved you since that stupid coffee shop, since you caught me when I was falling. Literally and figuratively, I laughed, cried, kissed him. And for those few minutes, standing in his kitchen with onions burning on the stove and smoke alarm threatening to go off, everything was perfect. I should have known it wouldn't last. Mrs. Park invited me to lunch. Not Minjun, just me. It's a trap, he said when I told him. Probably. Then don't go. I have to. I squeezed his hand. Your mother and I can't keep avoiding each other. If we're going to have any kind of future, she and I need to talk. She's going to attack you. She's been attacking me for months. I can handle it. Zara, Minjun, trust me. He didn't look happy, but he nodded. The lunch was at the Park estate. Same dining room where she'd slid that envelope across the table. Same crystal chandelier. Same staff who'd watched her insult me. Mrs. Park was already seated when I arrived, impeccably dressed, smile that didn't reach her eyes. Zara, thank you for coming. Mrs. Park? I sat, waited. She poured tea, handed me a cup. The ritual felt important to her, traditional. I owe you an apology, she said. Not what I expected. I treated you poorly, said things I shouldn't have said, made assumptions about you that were... She paused, chose her words. Wrong. Yes, you did, she flinched. You're not going to make this easy. Should I? You called me ghetto. You tried to pay me off. You spread rumors through your entire community. You invited your son's ex-girlfriend to events specifically to humiliate me. I set down my tea. And now that you know I'm the chairman of the company you desperately need, now you want to apologize? I was protecting my family. You were being cruel. Silence. Then quietly. Yes, I was. She looked at me. Really looked at me. For the first time since we'd met. My husband told me what you said, about helping our business only if it deserves to be helped, not because of Minjun. She folded her hands. That's fair, more than fair considering. Considering you accused me of being a burden? Yes. I studied her, looked for the trap, the angle. Why am I really here, Mrs. Park? Because I'm out of options, because my pride has cost my family everything, because my son is in love with you, and I can either accept that or lose him. She met my eyes. And because I'm trying badly, I know, to be better. Try harder. Excuse me. If you want my help with Park Industries, you'll have to do better than a grudging apology over tea. I stood. You humiliated me. You tried to destroy my relationship with your son. You spread lies about me to your entire community. And now you want me to save your company? What do you want from me? I want you to mean it when you apologize. I want you to look at me and see a person, not an obstacle, not a tool, a human being your son loves. I headed for the door, stopped. And Mrs. Park, I want you to understand that I don't need your approval. Minjun and I are together whether you like it or not. But if you keep attacking me, you'll lose your son. That's not a threat. That's just the truth. I left, walked out of that house the same way I'd left the first time, with my dignity intact and my head high. But this time, I heard her call after me. Zara, wait. I turned. She was standing in the doorway. For the first time since I'd met her, she looked small, uncertain. I am sorry, she said. For all of it. You're right, I was cruel. And I have no excuse except fear and pride and desperation. She took a breath. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to believe me, but I am trying. For Minjun, for my family, and maybe for you too. I looked at her, at this woman who'd made my life hell for months, who'd insulted me and attacked me and tried to pay me off, who was now finally starting to see me. Okay, I said. I believe you're trying. That's a start. Then I left. And as I drove back to the city, I thought about Big Mama, about what she'd say if she could see me now. Probably something about grace, about giving people room to be better than they've been. Or maybe she'd tell me to watch my back. With Big Mama, it could go either way. The necklace incident happened a week later. Minjun had asked me to come to the estate for dinner. Said his father wanted to discuss something, said it would be family only. Safe. I should have known better. I wore one of my simple dresses, the kind that said, I'm making an effort, but I'm still me. Drove my Honda, walked into that house trying to believe that maybe, just maybe, things were getting better. The dinner started fine, polite, careful, like everyone was walking on eggshells. Then Mrs. Park's diamond necklace went missing. It was right here. She touched her throat, empty now. On the table. I took it off before dinner. Everyone looked, under chairs, in the hallway. Nothing. And then her eyes landed on me. Zara, do you have my necklace? The room went cold. No. Are you certain? I didn't touch your necklace, Mrs. Park. It was right here, and now it's gone. Her voice was calm, too calm. I'm not accusing. I'm just asking if perhaps you picked it up by accident. I didn't. Then you won't mind if we check? Minjun stood. Mother, stop. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm simply asking. You're accusing her. Again. His voice was steel. After everything, after that apology you just gave her a week ago, you're doing this again. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm trying to find my necklace. Check her purse, Ji-yoon said quietly. If she doesn't have it, no harm done. All eyes turned to me. I looked at Mrs. Park, at her carefully neutral expression, at the setup that was so obvious I almost laughed. Fine, I said. Check. I handed over my purse. Ji-yoon went through it. Phone, wallet, keys, lipstick, no necklace. See? I said. Maybe she hid it somewhere else, Ji-yoon suggested. That's enough. Mr. Park's voice cut through. This is ridiculous. I just want my necklace back. Then you should check your own belongings, dear. Mr. Park walked to the sideboard, opened her purse, the one she'd set down when dinner started. And there it was, the diamond necklace, coiled at the bottom of her purse like a snake. Silence. Mrs. Park stared at it, at her husband holding the evidence of her own mistake, or her own scheme. I must have put it there without thinking. Must have, I said quietly. She looked at me, guilt written across her face. Zara, I'm sorry, I didn't mean… Yes, you did. I stood, looked at Minjun. I'm leaving. I'm coming with you. No, stay, deal with your family. I grabbed my purse. I'll call you later. I walked out, again. And this time Mrs. Park didn't call after me, didn't apologize, didn't try to make it right. She just stood there, holding her necklace, proving that some people would rather be right than decent. Minjun showed up at my apartment 2 hours later. I'm sorry. You keep apologizing for your family. Because they keep giving me reasons to. He sat down next to me, took my hands. She swears it was an accident, that she really did forget she'd put it in her purse. Do you believe her? I don't know anymore. He looked exhausted. Maybe she did forget. Maybe she was testing you. Maybe she just can't help herself. Minjun. I know you shouldn't have to deal with this. You shouldn't have to prove yourself over and over while they treat you like a criminal. He pulled me close. I'm so tired of choosing between you and them. You shouldn't have to choose. But I do. Every day. Every time they attack you, I have to choose. And Zara, I'm always going to choose you. But it's killing me that I have to. I held him, felt the weight he was carrying, the pressure from all sides. What if we just left? I said quietly. He pulled back. What? What if we left New York? Started over somewhere else? You could walk away from Park Industries, from your family's expectations, from all of it. Zara, I'm serious. I can work from anywhere. You could do whatever you wanted. We could just be happy, without all this. He looked at me like I'd offered him the moon. I can't, he said finally. The business, my father, the workers who depend on Park Industries for their livelihoods. I can't just walk away. Even if staying is destroying you? Even then, I understood, hated it, but understood. Okay, I said, then we stay, and we figure it out. You'd stay, knowing what you're signing up for? I'd stay for you, always. He kissed me, soft, grateful, desperate, and I kissed him back, knowing that this us was worth fighting for, even if the fight never seemed to end. Hannah showed up 3 days later, not at a restaurant, not at an event, at my office, my real office, the one with Chairman Vance on the door and Manhattan spread out below like a kingdom. Impressive, she said when my assistant showed her in. I see why Minjun is so fascinated. What do you want, Hannah? To talk, woman to woman, again. We already did that. That was before the necklace incident, before his mother proved she'll never really accept you. Hannah sat down uninvited. I heard about it. Everyone heard about it. The great Chairman Vance, accused of theft in her boyfriend's home. Your point? My point is that his mother will never stop. She'll keep testing you, keep pushing, keep trying to prove you're not good enough. Hannah leaned forward. But me? His mother adores me. If he were with me, all of this would go away. The pressure, the drama, the constant proving yourself. He doesn't want to be with you. Are you sure? Or does he just think he wants to be with you because you're exciting and different and challenge him? She smiled. Novelty wears off, Zara. Reality sets in. And the reality is that being with you means war with his family. Forever. I think Minjun can decide what he wants. Can he? Or is he too busy feeling guilty to admit that maybe, just maybe, this is too hard? I stood. This meeting is over. Think about it. You love him, right? Then maybe loving him means letting him go. Giving him back to a life that doesn't require him to choose between everyone he loves. Get out. She stood slowly, smoothed her skirt. I'm just trying to help. No, you're trying to win. But Hannah, there's no competition. He chose me. He keeps choosing me. And no amount of your interference is going to change that. We'll see. She left, and I stood there, in my office, surrounded by everything I'd built, everything that made me powerful, and wondered if Hannah was right, if loving Minjun meant letting him go. I called Big Mama that night. Baby girl, haven't heard from you in a while. I've been busy. Busy falling in love? How did she always know? Yeah. Tell me about him. So I did. Told her about Minjun, about his family, about the attacks and the pressure and the way he kept choosing me even when it cost him everything. Sounds like a good man, Big Mama said when I finished. He is. So what's the problem? His family hates me. And I'm starting to think maybe they're right to. Maybe I'm making his life harder. Maybe if I loved him enough, I'd walk away. Silence. Then Big Mama laughed. Actually laughed. Zara Michelle Vance, did I raise you to run when things got hard? No, but did I teach you that your worth depends on other people's approval? No? Then why are you letting these people make you doubt yourself? Her voice was gentle but firm. Listen to me, baby. Love isn't about making things easy. It's about making things worth it. If that boy loves you, really loves you, then you being in his life is worth the fight. And if his family can't see that, that's their loss, not yours. But what if I'm hurting him? Then let him decide that. Don't make his choices for him. Don't walk away because you think it's noble. You ask him what he wants, and then you trust him enough to tell you the truth. I closed my eyes. When did you get so wise? I was born wise, child. You just finally started listening. We talked for another hour about Savannah, about the buildings she owned, and the tenants who'd become family, about everything and nothing. And when I hung up, I felt steadier. Big Mama was right. I needed to trust Minjun, trust that he knew what he wanted, or trust that we were strong enough to survive his family's attacks. I just hoped she was right. The charity event was black tie, expensive, the kind where New York's business elite gathered to network and pretend they cared about causes. I'd been invited as keynote speaker. Vance, Chairman of Vantage Group, talking about philanthropy and strategic giving. Minjun came as my date. We walked in together, his hand on the small of my back, cameras flashing, everyone watching. And there, near the bar, was Hana, with her father, both of them staring at us. "Ignore them," Minjun whispered. "I intend to." I gave my speech, talked about using business success to create lasting change, about responsibility and community, about building something bigger than yourself. The applause was thunderous. And when I stepped off stage, Minjun was waiting, with flowers, with that smile that still made my stomach flip. "You were incredible." I just talked about writing checks. "You inspired a room full of billionaires to think about something other than their portfolios. That's a skill." He kissed me, right there, in front of everyone, including Hana. And when we broke apart, I saw her, watching. Her face a mask of realization. She'd lost. He wasn't coming back, wasn't going to choose the easy path, wasn't going to trade me for his family's approval. He was mine, and I was his, and everyone could see it. Later, as we were leaving, she approached. "Minjun." He turned, kept his arm around my waist. "Hana?" I just wanted to say. She looked at me, then back at him. "I'm happy for you. Both of you. I mean it." Minjun blinked, surprised. "Thank you," I said quietly. She nodded, walked away, and I knew, watching her go, that she'd finally accepted it, that we'd won, that the fight with her, at least, was over. One down, several more to go. Mr. Park called me a week later. "Miss Vance, I need to speak with you. Urgently." About the business proposal? About my son. That got my attention. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. He looked older than I remembered. Tired. "Park Industries is failing," he said without preamble. "Worse than I've admitted to anyone. We have maybe 6 weeks before we have to start layoffs. 10 weeks before we close permanently." "I know." "Of course you do." He smiled, bitter. "You probably knew before we did." "I read quarterly reports." "Minjun doesn't know how bad it is. I've been shielding him, trying to give him time to—" He stopped. "To choose between saving the business or being with you. That's not a choice he should have to make." "I know, but my wife believes it is. She thinks if he focuses on the company, stops being distracted by your relationship, he can somehow save us." Mr. Park shook his head. "She's wrong. Minjun can't save Park Industries. None of us can. We're past that point." "So why are you telling me?" "Because I've been researching Vantage Group, your other investments, the companies you've saved and the ones you've let fail." He leaned forward. "You save companies that deserve saving, that have good bones, that can be turned around with proper management and capital. That's the business model, yes. Park Industries has good bones, good workers, good infrastructure, bad leadership." He met my eyes. "If you invest in us, you'll gut the executive team, replace us, restructure everything." "Probably." "Good. Do it." I blinked. "You want me to take control of your family's company?" "I want you to save it, however that needs to look. If that means pushing me and my wife out of leadership, so be it. The business is bigger than our pride." "And your wife?" "Is still researching you, trying to find leverage. She doesn't know I'm here." He pulled out a folder. "Here, our financials, the real ones, not the ones we've been showing investors." I opened it, scanned the numbers. They were worse than I thought. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. "Because my son is in love with you. Because despite everything my wife has done, you've shown more integrity than our entire family combined. And because—" He paused. "Because I'm tired of watching my pride destroy everything I've built." I looked at him. at this man who'd stood silent while his wife insulted me, who'd enabled her attacks, who'd put business above his son's happiness, who was now, finally, trying to do the right thing. "I'll review these," I said. "I'll have my team evaluate the business. And if we decide to invest, it'll be on our terms. Complete restructuring, new leadership, transparency with the workforce." "I understand. And, Mr. Park, this doesn't change things between me and Minjun. I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing this because your workers deserve stability, and your business deserves a chance." "I know." He stood. "Thank you." He left, and I sat there, with Park Industries' real financials spread out in front of me, with the power to save or destroy Minjun's family legacy, with a choice to make. Big Mama's voice in my head. "Sometimes the right thing and the hard thing are the same thing, baby girl." I pulled out my phone, called Clara. "I need a full evaluation of Park Industries, due diligence, everything. I want to know if this company is worth saving." "On it, ETA. 48 hours? Ambitious. That's why I pay you the big bucks." I hung up and started reading, because if I was going to save Minjun's family business, I was going to do it right, even if they never knew until it was too late to stop me. Mr. Park's research was paying off. I could tell because his calls to my office became more insistent, more desperate, like he'd found something and wasn't sure what to do with it. 3 days after our coffee shop meeting, he called again. "Miss Vance, I need to know. Are you considering our proposal?" "My team is evaluating. How long will that take?" "As long as it takes to do it properly." "We don't have time for proper. We have weeks." "Then you should have come to me months ago, Mr. Park, instead of letting your wife attack me while your business burned." Silence. "You're right. We wasted time. Pride and prejudice and—" He sighed. "I'm calling to warn you." That got my attention. "Warn me about what?" "My wife. She knows something. I don't know what, but she's been on the phone all morning. To board members, to other companies, to someone at Vantage Group." My stomach dropped. "Who at Vantage?" "I don't know, but she was asking questions. About ZM Vance, about your background, about how long you've been running the company." "Let her ask. It's all public record." "Is it? Because the way she's smiling lately—" He paused. "Just be careful. My wife is most dangerous when she thinks she's finally won." He hung up, and I sat there, in my office, staring at Manhattan, wondering what Mrs. Park had found, and what she planned to do with it. The call came 2 days after Mrs. Park's research marathon. Minjun's voice was tired. "They want to meet, both of us, tomorrow morning." I knew what was coming. When someone researches you that hard, they're building ammunition. "Okay," I said. "Where?" "The estate, 10 o'clock. His mother opened the door. Her face was steel, no greeting, no tea service, just the 4 of them waiting in the formal sitting room like a tribunal. Mr. Park sat rigid. Ji-yoon watched from the corner, quiet for once. Mrs. Park stood. "We know who you are," she said. No preamble. "Chairman Vance." Minjun's head turned toward me. Confusion flickered across his face. Wait, he didn't know they knew? "Yes," I said, calm, steady. "I am." His mother's smile was sharp. "And you've been playing games with my son for months, humiliating our family." "I haven't humiliated anyone," I said. "I fell in love with your son. That's all." "That's all?" Her voice rose. "You let us beg. You watched us scramble for meetings with Vantage while you laughed at us." "I never laughed at you." "You took our envelope," she hissed. $50,000 and you—" "I didn't take it," I said, voice like iron. "I left it on your table." Minjun stood. "Mother, what is happening?" She turned to him. "This woman has been lying to you, to all of us. She's been watching us struggle while holding the solution in her hands." "I set professional boundaries," I said. "Your husband called. I told him to send a proper proposal." "After insulting us at our own dinner table," Mr. Park finally spoke. "Minjun, your mother and I have discussed this. We're giving you a choice." The room went cold. "Her or your family?" Mrs. Park said. "You have 48 hours?" Minjun laughed. actually laughed. "You're joking." "We are not joking," his father said. "If you continue this relationship, you're out. No company, no family, no support." "You disown me?" Minjun's voice shook. "Over this?" "Over her deception," his mother snapped. "Over her cruelty. Over the fact that she's been manipulating you for months." "She hasn't manipulated me." "Then why did she hide who she was?" Mrs. Park's eyes were cold. "If her intentions were pure, why lie?" I stood. "Because men like you only see my money, not me." "You're right," she said. "We see your money now, and we see exactly what you've done with it. Nothing. You've watched us beg and done nothing." "I told your husband how to proceed." "Formal channels," she mocked, "while our workers face layoffs, while our family name dies." "That's not my fault." "It is when you have the power to stop it." Her voice cracked. "You could save everything, but you'd rather punish us for one dinner." "I'm not punishing you. I'm protecting myself." "From what?" She stepped closer. "From a family that needs help? From a man who loves you despite your lies?" Minjun moved between us. "Stop." His mother's eyes stayed on me. 48 hours, Miss Vance, he chooses. Her or us. Minjun drove me home. His hands gripped the wheel too tight. "I'm not choosing them," he said. "You know that." I watched the city blur past. "You should." "What?" "Choose them." My voice was steady. Had to be steady. "Choose your family." He pulled over. Right there on the FDR Drive, hazards flashing, cars streaming past. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying they're right." The words tasted like ash. "I should have told you. I should have helped with the business. I let my fear make me selfish." "You're not selfish." "I am." I looked at him. Really looked at him. Memorizing. "And I won't be the reason you lose everything." "You're not. Your company, your family, your name." My throat burned. "That's who you are. I won't take that away." "I don't care about the company." "You do," I said. Gentle, firm. "You told me yourself. You can't walk away from the workers, from the legacy, from all of it." "I can if it means keeping you. But you shouldn't have to choose." Tears now, hot and heavy. "You deserve both, your family and your happiness. I won't force that choice." His hand found mine. "What are you doing?" "I'm protecting you." "I don't need protection." "Yes, you do." I pulled my hand back. Had to. One more second, and I'd break. "From me. From this situation. From everything I've caused." "Zara." "I love you," I said, words breaking apart. "I love you enough to let you have your life back." "My life is with you." "No," I whispered. "Your life is with them. It always was. I just got in the way for a little while." I opened the car door. "Don't do this," he said, voice raw, desperate. "Please don't do this." 48 hours, I said. "Choose them. Make peace with your family. Save your company." "I don't want any of that without you." I kissed him. One last time, soft and aching and final. "You'll forget me," I whispered against his mouth. "Eventually." Then I got out, closed the door, walked away, didn't look back, couldn't. 3 days later, I was still in my apartment. Not the Brooklyn place, the real one. Penthouse overlooking Central Park, floor-to-ceiling windows, too much space for one person who couldn't stop crying. Clara called twice a day. "You need to eat." I wasn't hungry. Big Mama called from Savannah. "Baby girl, you did the right thing." It didn't feel right. It felt like dying. Uncle Jerome sent flowers, peonies, my mother's favorite. The card said, "You're stronger than this." Was I? My phone stayed silent. No calls from Minjun, no texts. Good. That meant he was choosing them, making peace, moving forward. I sat in the dark and told myself it was better this way. Told myself he'd be happier. Told myself love wasn't always enough. Big Mama's words echoed, "Make sure the man is worth the trouble when the truth comes out." He was worth it. God, he was worth everything. But maybe I wasn't. Minjun wasn't better. I didn't know that yet, but I'd learn it later, after everything. He spent 3 days in his apartment, didn't go to the office, didn't answer his mother's calls. Ji-yoon came by. He didn't open the door. His father called. Min-jun let it ring. He sat in the space where we'd kissed after the truth came out, where he'd said, "I don't care about the money," where everything had felt possible. His mother called again and again. On the third day, he answered. "Did she call you?" Mrs. Park asked. "No." "Good." Relief in her voice. "That means she's letting you go. She knows she was wrong." He hung up. She wasn't wrong. He was losing his mind and she wasn't wrong. But she'd left anyway, to protect him. Even now, after everything, she was still protecting him. He put his head in his hands and tried to figure out how to breathe without her. Mr. Park couldn't sleep. 3 days since the ultimatum. 3 days since Zara walked away. 3 days since his wife declared victory. But something felt wrong. He sat in his office at 2 in the morning. Vantage Group's website open on his laptop. Chairman ZM Vance, private equity, $4.7 billion in assets, founded 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Zara would have been 21? 22? He clicked another tab, searched Zara Michelle Vance Stanford. There, alumni profile. Stanford Graduate School of Business, MBA with distinction. Thesis on ethical private equity practices in manufacturing. Manufacturing. His chest went tight. Another search. ZM Vance Crawford Building. The photo loaded. Premium office, 32nd floor. The same building Ji-yoon's PI had found. His hands shook. He'd met with Vantage representatives twice over the years. Always intermediaries. Always Clara Wu, the chief of staff. Never the chairman. The chairman stayed private. Notoriously private. Never photographed, never interviewed. Always behind the scenes. His wife's voice echoed, $50,000 for your hair and nails. Oh God, another search. Vantage Group Acquisitions 2025. 3 companies, all in manufacturing, all saved from bankruptcy, all kept their workers, all restructured with original leadership replaced by ethical executives. His wife had called Vantage Group a week ago, multiple times, demanding meetings. They'd been denied because Zara Michelle Vance had professional boundaries, because they'd insulted her at dinner, because his wife had tried to buy her off for $50,000 when she was worth $4.7 billion. He stood, paced. His reflection in the dark window looked pale. They'd had the solution at their dinner table, and they'd thrown an envelope at her. He grabbed his phone, called his wife. "Do you know what time it is?" she said. "We made a mistake." "What?" "Zara," he said, voice shaking. "She's really the chairman. Not just, she's really ZM Vance. I just confirmed it." Silence. "We've been insulting her this whole time," he said. "At dinner, the envelope, everything. We insulted a woman worth billions who could have saved us." "She still can," his wife said, cold, practical. "Min-jun will reconcile with her. We'll apologize. She's not going to save us," he interrupted. "Don't you understand? We crossed a line. She told me to send a proper proposal. We didn't. We gave an ultimatum instead." "Because she was manipulating?" "She wasn't manipulating anyone." His voice rose. "She was protecting herself from people exactly like us. People who only see her money." His wife's breath was sharp. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying we've lost," he said. "Park Industries, our son. All of it. Because you couldn't let him be happy." "I was protecting our family." "You were protecting your pride," he said. "And now we have nothing." He hung up, stared at his computer screen. Zara's thesis title, Ethical Practices in Private Equity, When Profit and People Align. They'd invited her to dinner and called her cheap. Tomorrow was the Vantage Group Global Gala, the chairman's annual keynote, the first timing. ZM Vance would appear publicly. His wife had gotten tickets weeks ago. Desperate networking, begging board members for access. "We must meet the chairman," she'd said. He closed his laptop. Too late now. The plaza ballroom glittered. I stood backstage in Valentino. Black, structured, power in every seam. Clara checked her tablet. 2 minutes? I could hear them out there. 700 people. Investors, CEOs, board members, press, everyone who mattered in New York private equity. My stomach twisted. "You okay?" Clara asked. "No," she smiled. "Good, channel it." The plaza, where I'd attended charity events in Target dresses, hiding. Where Hannah spilled wine on me months ago. Full circle. Through the curtain gap, I saw them. Park family, front section, dressed in their finest. Mrs. Park in silk, Mr. Park looking gray. Ji-yoon beside them, sharp-eyed. And Min-joon. My heart stopped. He looked terrible. Dark circles, rumpled suit. Like he hadn't slept since I left. His mother leaned close, whispering. Probably networking strategies. Probably, "We must speak to the chairman." He wasn't listening. He stared at the stage like a man at a funeral. "Zara," Clara touched my arm. "It's time." I took a breath, then another. Big Mama's voice in my head. "Baby girl, when the truth comes out, make sure the man is worth the trouble." He was worth it, even if I'd lost him. I walked toward the stage. The announcer's voice boomed. "Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce, for the first time in Vantage Group's 8-year history, our chairman and founder." I stepped into the light. "Miss Zara Michelle Vance." The ballroom exploded. Applause, camera flashes, 700 people rising to their feet. I walked to the podium, looked out at the crowd, found them. Mrs. Park's face went white, frozen, like someone had pressed pause on her whole existence. Mr. Park closed his eyes. Defeat written across every line. Ji-yoon's mouth opened. No sound came out. And Min-joon. He stared, just stared, like he was seeing me for the first time and the 100th time all at once. I gripped the podium, smiled. "Thank you for that warm welcome," I said, voice steady, strong. "I know many of you have been curious about the person behind Vantage Group. I've stayed private by choice, but tonight, I'm stepping into the light." Applause again. I waited for silence. 8 years ago, I founded Vantage with a simple philosophy. Profit and people don't have to be enemies. We can build wealth while building dignity. We can save companies while saving families. Murmurs of agreement. "Tonight, I want to talk about power," I said, "and what we do when we have it." Mrs. Park tried to stand. Her husband pulled her back down. "Several months ago, I met a man," I said. "Didn't look at Min-joon. Couldn't yet. A good man. Kind. Genuine. He worried about me because he thought I was struggling. He tried to help with my rent. He offered to pay for dinner because he didn't want me to stress about money." Quiet laughter rippled through the crowd. "He didn't know who I was," I continued. "And that was the most beautiful gift anyone's ever given me. He saw me, not my bank account. Not what I could do for him, just me." Min-joon's hand covered his mouth. "But his family," I said, voice hardening. "They saw something different. They looked at my dress and called it cheap. They heard my accent and called me ghetto. They slid an envelope across the table and told me $50,000 should be enough for my hair and nails if I just leave their son alone." Gasps. Actual gasps. Mrs. Park's face was ash. "That dress?" I smiled. "Cost $5,000. My office coffee budget, $63,000 per year. That envelope? I left it on their table untouched." Someone in the audience laughed. Then more joined. "Why am I telling you this?" I asked. "Because Park Industries was on Vantage's shortlist. We were considering investment. They needed help. We could provide it." Mr. Park's head dropped. "But I learned something at that dinner," I said. "I learned that some families value status over character, control over love, pride over their own son's happiness." Silence now, complete silence. "Park Industries will not be receiving Vantage Group funding," I announced. "Not now, not ever, because business is built on trust, and I don't trust people who treat others as obstacles to be bought off." Mrs. Park stood. "You can't—" Security moved. "Furthermore," I continued, voice rising, "let this be a lesson to everyone in this room. Hidden power is still power. The woman you dismiss might be the one deciding your fate. The person you insult might be the one you're begging for help tomorrow. Choose kindness. Choose dignity. Choose respect." The applause started slow. then built. Thunder! Mrs. Park pushed past security. I need to speak to you. I need… Mrs. Park, I said from the stage, microphone carrying my voice. Your 48 hours are up. You demanded my partner choose. He chose, and so have I. Security escorted her out. She was crying, actually crying. The ballroom doors closed behind her. Muffled sounds of her voice, begging, pleading, gone. I looked at Min-jun. He hadn't moved, hadn't left with his family. He was staring at me like I'd hung the moon and shattered his world all at once. Thank you, I said to the crowd. Enjoy the evening. I walked off stage. Backstage, Clara intercepted me. That was perfect, she said. Absolutely perfect. Is she gone? Security has her in the lobby. She's demanding to speak with you. No. Zara. I said no. My voice shook. I can't. Not yet. Clara nodded. I'll handle it. Through the curtain, I watched them gather. Mr. Park stood slowly, moved toward the exit. Broken. Ji-yoon followed, head down, ashamed. The crowd parted for them. Whispers, stares. Everyone knew now. Everyone had watched the Parks get publicly dismantled. In the lobby, Mrs. Park tried one more time. Please, her voice carried. I made a mistake. I didn't understand. I just need to talk to her. Please. Clara's voice firm. Chairman Vance has made her position clear. Park Industries will not receive funding. This conversation is over. But my son is an adult who made his own choices, as did you. Silence. Then the sound of Mrs. Park sobbing. Actual broken sobs. Not tears of anger, tears of loss. She'd gambled everything on control. And lost. The Parks left through the service entrance. No dignity, no grace, just defeat. Clara came back. They're gone, I nodded. Couldn't speak yet. Min-jun didn't leave with them, she said quietly. My head snapped up. What? He's still in the ballroom, just sitting there, waiting. My heart hammered. For what? You, Clara said. Obviously. I found him in the now empty front row. Everyone else had moved to the reception. Champagne, networking, the business of the night. He sat alone. I walked down the aisle, heels clicking on marble. Each step felt like miles. He stood when he saw me. Hi, I said. Stupid. Inadequate. You humiliated my family, he said. No anger, just observation. Yes, they deserved it. I nodded. Why didn't you tell me? He asked. Not about the money. I knew about that. But that they knew. That they'd researched you. That they were planning this. Would it have changed anything? Yes, he said. I would have warned you, prepared you, protected you. I didn't need protection. You walked away from me to protect me. His voice cracked. You broke your own heart to give me a choice I didn't want. You needed your family. I need you. He stepped closer. I needed you, and you left me. They gave you an ultimatum? And I chose, he said. 3 days ago. 3 days of you not calling, not texting. 3 days of my mother telling me I made the right choice, that you weren't worth it, that I'd forget you. Tears now, hot and fast. I can't forget you, he whispered. I can't breathe without you. I can't exist without you. You're in everything, every thought, every moment, every heartbeat. Min-jun. I sat there tonight, he continued, watching you on that stage, powerful, brilliant, devastating. And I thought, that's the woman I love. That's the woman who sacrificed herself to save me from a choice I'd already made. What choice? You, he said simply. I chose you. 3 days ago, 3 months ago, the moment you spilled coffee on me. I've been choosing you ever since. I couldn't speak. My mother's right about one thing, he said. You could have saved our company. You had the power, and you didn't use it. I couldn't mix… I know, he interrupted. Professional boundaries, protecting yourself. I understand, but you know what? I'm glad you didn't save them. My breath caught. Because they don't deserve you, he said. They don't deserve your brilliance or your kindness or your grace. They saw you and decided you weren't enough. They were wrong. They were so wrong, it's almost funny. It's not funny. No, he agreed. It's heartbreaking, but it's over now. They made their choices. I've made mine. What if I cost you everything? You are everything, he said. Everything else is just noise. He kissed me, right there in the empty ballroom, with staff cleaning tables and champagne glasses abandoned on chairs. Kissed me like he'd been drowning, and I was air. I love you, he said against my mouth. I loved you when I thought you had nothing. I love you now knowing you have everything. Nothing changed. Nothing will ever change. Big Mama's wisdom echoed, make sure the man is worth the trouble. He was. God help me, he was. We sat in the empty ballroom side by side in the front row. I need to tell you something, I said. If it's more secrets, I don't care. Your father called me 3 weeks ago, I said. Gave me the real financial documents. Asked me to evaluate Park Industries. Minji went still. I had Clara run a full analysis, I continued. The company is worth saving. The workers deserve stability. The core business is sound. It's just the leadership that's rotten. My parents. Yes, I looked at him. Your father asked me to gut the executive team, replace leadership, save the company on Vantage's terms. And will you? That depends, I said. On what? On you. I pulled an envelope from my bag. Not $50,000. A contract. He opened it. Read. His face went white. This is a controlling stake in Park Industries, I said. Vantage Group will invest. We'll save the company, prevent the layoffs, restructure everything, but not for your parents. For you. I don't understand. You're the only park with integrity, I said. The only one who sees workers as people, who values family but not control, who understands that building something means sacrifice. You're giving me the company? I'm giving you a choice, I corrected. Take this contract, become CEO, save Park Industries your way, fire your parents if you want, keep them if you can stomach it, build the legacy you actually believe in. His hands shook. Or don't, I said. Walk away, let it fail. Start something new. Whatever you choose, I'm with you. Why would you do this? Because you were right 3 days ago, I said. In your apartment, when you said you can't walk away from the workers, from the people who depend on Park Industries for their livelihoods. You meant that. I know you meant that. I did. So here's your chance, I said. Save them. Not for your parents. Not for the park name. For the people who actually matter. He stared at the contract. What if I fail? Then you fail, I said. But you'll fail trying to do the right thing. That's more than your parents ever did. They'll hate this. They already hate me. I smiled. Might as well give them a real reason. He laughed, broken, desperate. You're offering me everything I wanted, everything I thought I'd lost. Not everything, I said quietly. He looked at me. You lost 3 days, I said. 3 days of us. 3 days I can't give back. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry I left. I'm sorry I thought protecting you meant losing you. I forgive you, he said immediately. I forgive you, and I'm sorry they made you feel like you had to choose it all. So, I gestured to the contract. What do you say? He set it aside, turned to face me fully. I say yes to the company, he said. Yes to saving the workers. Yes to building something better than what my parents created. Good. But more than that, he continued, I say yes to you. Yes to us. Yes to figuring out how to build a life together despite everything that tried to tear us apart. Are you sure? My voice broke. Because this is permanent. Once you sign that contract, once you choose this path, there's no going back. Your family will never forgive you. I don't need their forgiveness, he said. I need yours, and I need you. You have both, I whispered. He picked up the contract. Do you have a pen? I handed him one. He signed. Just like that. No hesitation, no second guessing. Signed away his parents' control. signed into partnership with me, signed himself into a future we'd build together. There, he said. Done. Done, I agreed. We sat in silence for a moment. What happens now? He asked. Now? I smiled. Now we go to the reception. We drink champagne. We let everyone see us together. And tomorrow we start rebuilding. Together. Together? I confirmed. The reception was still going. I walked in with Min-jun, his hand in mine. The room went quiet. Then Clara started clapping. Slow, deliberate. Uncle Jerome joined. Then others. Applause. For us. For the choice. For the partnership. Min-jun pulled me close. Kissed me in front of everyone. Not gentle. Not soft. Claiming. I love you, he said loud enough for nearby tables to hear. I choose you. I'll keep choosing you. I love you too, I said, even though you're about to become the most hated CEO in your family's history. He laughed. I can live with that. Clara appeared with champagne. Congratulations, both of you. Thank you, Min-jun said, for everything, for protecting her, for running the analysis, for believing this could work. I didn't believe it would work, Clara said honestly. I believed Zara was strong enough to survive if it didn't. The fact that you proved me wrong is a pleasant surprise. My phone buzzed. Big Mama. Is it done? Yes, ma'am. Did he choose you? He did. Her laugh was warm, proud. Then he was worth the trouble after all. Yes, ma'am, I said. He was. Another text. Uncle Jerome. Proud of you, niece. Your mama would be proud too. Tears again. Happy ones this time. Min-jun's phone rang. His father. He declined the call. Then his mother. Declined. Then Ji-yoon. He turned the phone off, dropped it in his pocket. I'll deal with them tomorrow, he said. Tonight is ours. Tomorrow you're CEO? I said. Everything changes tomorrow. Everything changed 3 months ago, he corrected. When you spilled coffee on me, tomorrow is just paperwork. Paperwork that fires your parents. Restructures leadership, he said. There's a difference. Will you really fire them? He considered. I'll offer them board positions, advisory only. No operational control. If they take it, fine. If they don't, that's their choice. You're too kind? I'm practical, he said. They built something once, before it got twisted. Maybe they can help build it again, without the power to destroy it. And if they refuse, then I'll build it without them, he said simply. Either way, Park Industries survives. The workers keep their jobs, and we move forward. We danced. Real dancing this time. Not networking, not performing. Just us. In a ballroom full of people who finally knew the truth. I was Zara Michelle Vance, Chairman of Vantage Group, $4.7 billion, Stanford MBA, self-made from Savannah, Georgia, and he was Park Min-jun, new CEO, partner, the man who chose love over legacy, together, finally. What are you thinking? He asked. I'm thinking Big Mama was right, I said, about making sure the man is worth the trouble when the truth comes out. Was I? You are, I corrected, present tense every single day. He smiled, that smile that had made my stomach flip 3 months ago. That still did. Good, he said, because you're stuck with me now. Contract signed, partnership official, no refunds. No refunds, I agreed. We danced until the reception ended, until the lights came up, until it was just us and the plaza staff cleaning up. Then we walked out together, into the New York night, into whatever came next. His mother had demanded he choose. He had. And I'd chosen him right back. Big Mama's words echoed one more time. When you hide who you are to find love, make sure the man is worth the trouble when the truth comes out. The truth was out. The trouble was over. And Min-jun had been worth every single moment. 6 months changed everything. Park Industries didn't just survive, it thrived. Min-jun stood in the restructured executive suite, looking out over the production floor. Workers at their stations, orders flowing, no layoffs, no closures. He'd kept his word, fired half the executive team, brought in ethical leadership, restructured contracts with suppliers, prioritized people over profit margins. The company made less money, but it made clean money. And the workers noticed. They called him by his first name now, brought him coffee in the mornings, told him about their families, their kids' graduations, their parents' health. His father had called it getting too close to the floor. Minjun called it being human. The advisory board met monthly. His parents attended. They had no voting power, no operational control, just voices in a room full of other voices. His mother hated it. His father had made peace with it. And Minjun? He finally slept through the night. His phone buzzed. Zara, you ready for tomorrow? Tomorrow. The wedding. Korean and Southern traditions merged into something new. Something theirs. I've been ready since the coffee shop, he texted back. Her response, liar. You weren't ready. You just didn't know you wanted to be. He smiled. She was right. She was always right. The apology came 1 week before the wedding. Not private, not quiet. Public. Mrs. Park requested a meeting at the Park Industries headquarters, in the main conference room, with board members present. Minjun told me I didn't have to go. I went anyway. She stood when I entered. That alone was different. Chairman Vance, she said. Formal, careful. Thank you for coming. I nodded. Didn't sit yet. She took a breath. I owe you an apology, a real one this time. Not like the lunch months ago when I was still trying to manipulate the situation. Mr. Park sat beside her. He looked older, grayer. I treated you with cruelty, she continued. I judged you based on appearance, on accent, on assumptions I had no right to make. I offered you money to leave my son because I believed wealth and status mattered more than character. The board members watched, silent. I was wrong, she said, voice breaking. I lost my son because of my pride. I lost my company because of my prejudice. And I almost destroyed something beautiful because I couldn't see past my own fears. I stayed quiet. You saved Park Industries, she said. Not for me, not even for my husband, but for the workers who depended on us. For Minjun, for the legacy my family built before we corrupted it. She bowed, deep, traditional. I cannot undo what I did, she said, but I can ask for your forgiveness, and I can promise to do better, to be better, for my son, for your future family. I looked at Minjun. He gave me a small nod. Your choice. I don't forgive you yet, I said honestly, but I believe you're trying. That's more than you offered 6 months ago. Her face flickered. Pain, then acceptance. I understand, she said. I'm marrying your son tomorrow, I continued. You're invited, you're welcome. But if you ever speak to me the way you did at that first dinner, we're done. Permanently. Do you understand? I understand. Good. I sat down. Now let's discuss the quarterly reports. I have questions about supplier contracts. Business, professional, boundaries clear. She sat, opened her folder, began the presentation. Like any other board member, no special treatment, no power, just a voice at the table. After the meeting, Mr. Park approached me privately. Thank you, he said, for giving her another chance. I'm not doing it for her, I said. I'm doing it for Minjun. He deserves a family that tries. He deserves you, Mr. Park said. We didn't see that before. We see it now. Too little, too late. But it was something. The wedding was perfect. Not because everything went smoothly, because it was ours. Brooklyn Botanical Garden. Spring blooms everywhere. Cherry blossoms drifting in the breeze. Korean traditions first. The payback ceremony. Me in handbook. Him in traditional dress. Bowing to family. Offering dates and chestnuts. Big Mama sat in the front row next to Mrs. Park. The seating alone was a miracle. Big Mama wore purple. Her church crown. Savannah elegance. Mrs. Park wore cream silk. Subdued. Respectful. They didn't speak during the ceremony, but they didn't fight either. Progress. Minjun's hands shook when he bowed to Big Mama. She accepted the dates with a smile. You take care of my baby girl, she said. Southern steel wrapped in warmth. Yes, ma'am, he said. I will. I know you will, honey, she said. You already proved it. Then the American ceremony. Under the cherry blossoms. Uncle Jerome walking me down the aisle. "Your mama would be so proud," he whispered. "Built an empire and found a good man. That's her daughter." Tears threatened. I blinked them back. Minjun waited at the altar, eyes bright, smile soft. The same smile from the coffee shop, the one that made my stomach flip. Still did. Clara stood as my maid of honor, his cousin as best man. The officiant spoke about love, about choosing each other, about building something new from two different worlds. "Do you, Park Min-jun, take Zara Michelle Vance?" "I do," he interrupted. "Couldn't wait. I absolutely do." Laughter rippled through the guests. "Do you, Zara Michelle Vance?" "I do," I said. "Steady. Sure. I really do." He kissed me before the officiant finished. Everyone cheered, even Mrs. Park. I saw her, clapping, crying. Real tears this time. Not manipulation. Just a mother watching her son marry the woman he loved. Maybe she was finally learning. The reception was at the plaza, full circle, where Hannah spilled wine, where I revealed the truth, where everything changed. Now it was ours. Our celebration, our victory. Big Mama and Mrs. Park ended up at the same table during dinner. I watched from the head table. Couldn't help it. "Your granddaughter is remarkable," Mrs. Park said. Formal, careful. "I know," Big Mama said, warm but not yielding. "Raised her myself after her mama passed. Taught her everything about business, about dignity, about knowing her worth." "She certainly knows her worth." Big Mama sipped her wine. "You tried to buy her off for $50,000. At my grandbaby's worth, $50,000. Mrs. Park flinched. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I didn't know." "You didn't want to know," Big Mama corrected. "You saw a black girl with an accent and decided she wasn't good enough. That's on you, honey, not her." Silence. "But," Big Mama continued, "my grandbaby loves your son, and your son loves her right back. So we're going to be family now, whether we like it or not." "I'm trying," Mrs. Park said, "to be better, to do better." "I can see that," Big Mama said. Not warm, not cold, just honest. "Keep trying. You'll get there eventually, or you won't. Either way, those two?" She gestured toward us. "They're gonna be just fine." Mrs. Park nodded. "They will." Big Mama smiled. "Now tell me about this hanbok tradition. I want to understand my grandbaby's new culture." And Mrs. Park did. Cautious at first, then warming. Two mothers, two cultures. Two women who love the same man in different ways. Learning to share space. Not friends. Not yet. Maybe never. But trying. That was enough. 1 month after the wedding, we hosted family dinner. Our penthouse. The real one. Central Park views. Floor-to-ceiling windows. The space where I'd cried after leaving him. Now it was filled with laughter. Big Mama, Uncle Jerome, Clara, Minjun's parents, Ji-yoon, Korean food and Southern food on the same table, bulgogi and collard greens, kimchi and cornbread, everything mixed together, like us. Mrs. Park brought tea, insisted on serving it herself. "This is the traditional way," she said quietly. "The mother serves the new couple as a sign of respect." She poured Minjun's cup first, then mine. Her hands shook slightly. "Thank you," I said. Meant it. She nodded, sat down. Dinner was awkward at first. Too much history, too much hurt. But then Big Mama started telling stories about me as a child. "This girl," she said, 8 years old, decided she was going to sell lemonade to buy her own computer. You know what she did? She researched optimal pricing, made a business plan, projected profits." Uncle Jerome laughed. "She made $300 in 1 summer." "I made 400, I corrected. "The last month I raised prices based on demand analysis." Minjun kissed my temple. "Of course you did." Mrs. Park watched us. Something soft in her eyes. Maybe regret. Maybe acceptance. "Minjun was similar," she said carefully. "Always worried about fairness. Even as a child. If his sister got more dessert, he'd give her his portion to make it equal." "That's because Ji-yoon would cry if she didn't get her way," Minjun said. Ji-yoon threw a napkin at him. I was 6. Laughter. Real, genuine, unforced. Maybe we'd never be a perfect family. Maybe Mrs. Park would never fully make up for that first dinner. Maybe some wounds would always ache. But we were trying. All of us. And that was something. Later that night, after everyone left, Minjun and I stood at the windows. The city glowed below. Same view I'd stared at for 3 days after leaving him, when I thought I'd lost him forever. "What are you thinking?" he asked, arms around me, chin on my shoulder. "I'm thinking about the coffee shop," I said. "How you smiled at me even though I'd ruined your shirt. How you asked real questions instead of just networking." "I wasn't networking, I was falling." "I know." I leaned back into him. "I was falling too. I just didn't know if I could trust it." "Do you trust it now?" "I trust you," I said. Present tense. Every single day. We'd built something impossible. 2 worlds that shouldn't have fit. 2 families that shouldn't have blended. 2 people who shouldn't have worked, but we did. Park Industries thrived under his leadership. Ethical, strong, fair. Vantage Group expanded. 3 new acquisitions, all restructured with dignity. We worked together sometimes. Separate companies, but shared values. Profit and people, success and integrity. Turns out you could have both if you tried hard enough. "Big Mama asked when we're giving her great-grandbabies," I said. Minjun laughed. "My mother asked the same thing, practically demanded a timeline." "What did you tell her?" "I told her we'd consider it when she apologizes for the necklace incident." "She never did apologize for that," I said. "I know." He turned me around, looked at me with those dark eyes that still made my stomach flip. "We have time, no rush. Let's just be us for a while." "Us," I repeated. I like the sound of that. "Me too." He kissed me. Soft. Sure. Home. My phone buzzed. "Big Mama. Baby girl, I just want you to know I'm proud of you. You built an empire. You found a good man. You did exactly what your mama hoped you'd do. Sleep well, honey." I showed Minjun the text. "She's right," he said. "About the good man part. I am pretty good." I laughed. "You're impossible." "You love me anyway." "I really do," I said. We stood there, in our penthouse, in our life, in the future we'd fought for and won. Big Mama's words echoed one final time. When you hide who you are to find love, make sure the man is worth the trouble when the truth comes out. The truth was out. Had been for 6 months. The trouble was over. And Park Min-jun had been worth every single moment. Every attack, every tear, every fight. Worth it all. "What do you want to do tomorrow?" he asked. "Maybe get coffee?" I smiled. "I know a place in Manhattan. Good coffee. Even better company." "The same place where a beautiful woman once spilled my drink?" "The very same." "Sounds perfect," he said. And it was. We had everything. The business, the family, the love. But more than that, we had each other. And that was more than enough. That was everything.